There's nothing else which will see you through this life but faith. Nothing's going to get the Christian through like, listen, Jesus, the Bible says, this is the victory that overcometh the world, even your faith. You know what the Bible says, put on the whole armor of God. You know what it says? Above all, taking the shield of faith. And what does the shield of faith do? Wherewith we quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. No matter what he shoots at us, if you keep your faith, it will not destroy you. All you got to do is keep faith. Just keep believing. Do you believe? I'd like everyone to stand if you would. We're all going to suffer loss in this life. Most people here have already buried their parents, probably. And this last week was a strange week for me when you're calling in hospice for your father and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to have to face that. Sister Sandra's here, and I'm sorry, Sandra, to call you out, but Sandra's here worshiping God with a broken heart because she lost her spouse, but there's others here that have lost their spouses. There are some here today that I cannot imagine, but you've lost your children. Several here today that have buried their children. I can't imagine that. What sees you through all of those things that you go through in life? There's only one thing. You keep your faith. It's a trial of your faith. I'm going to tell you this story and we're going to pray. There was a Christian evangelist I went to see. They called him into a youth conference that I attended named Dave Reaver. Dave Reaver fought in Vietnam, and he was on one of these little boats going down a river in Vietnam, and he had a phosphorus grenade in his hand. And he said, I got it up to my ear, and he said, I started to throw, and he said, I don't know whether a sniper hit it or whether or not it just malfunctioned. He said, but it exploded in my hand, this phosphorus grenade, right next to my hand, and right next to my head. And he said, a phosphorus grenade, he says, if you don't know, he says, phosphorus has to burn out. You can't put it out. He says, so it caught the whole side of my body on fire. He said, I jumped in the river trying to put the fire out, did nothing. It had to burn itself out. He says, I came up out of the water, and he says, the first thing out of my mouth was, I still love you, Jesus. Now, if you could see Dave Reaver today, you look him up on the internet, his face is mangled and disfigured, false ear on, he's got a wig on his head because all his hair and scalp have been burned off. Fingers gone, body gone, walks funny. And he's still serving the Lord today. You know what that proved to me? That's genuine faith. Because everything in you would be mad at God. Everything in you would say, boy, I'm just so angry, my whole life is ruined, had to go back home, had just been married not very long. His wife sees her husband in this condition, served God with him. They served in ministry for probably 50 years together. My point is, folks, you're going to go through trials. And the way you get through it is keeping that faith and saying, God, I'm worshiping you, and I love you, and I'm still going to be here, and though you slay me, yet will I serve you, and yet will I trust you. I want you to bow your heads and close your eyes if you would.